Imagine this. You're walking down the street, surrounded by people, noise, screens, faces, and suddenly you're overcome by the feeling that you're not living your own life. You think you're making decisions, but if we're honest, you're mostly reacting to fear, to expectations, to other people's opinions. Rich and successful people understand this early on, not because they're smarter, but because they notice before others do. The mind is not truth, but environment. You have been taught that thinking is logic, facts, and intellect. But in reality, thinking is a habit of interpreting the world in a certain way.
And if you don't control this habit, it controls you. The old myth sounds nice. Be good, be right, be agreeable, and the world will reciprocate. This myth has destroyed millions of people. In relationships, in money, in confidence. Because the world does not reward correctness. It responds to the internal state of the mind. The first secret that rich people know is that the mind does not seek happiness. It seeks control. The brain is evolutionarily programmed to avoid pain, not to create greatness. That's why it pulls you toward the familiar, even if it destroys you. What you affectionately refer to as your character is, upon closer inspection, a collection of deeply ingrained habits and defenses. When you are afraid to say too much, show interest, or set boundaries, it is not politeness. It is a survival strategy. Rich people consciously break this strategy. They enter discomfort before life forces them there. They understand that if the mind is not trained, it becomes a prison. The second secret is that emotions are not the problem. The problem is identification. You feel anxiety and think, I am anxious. You feel rejection and think, I am inadequate. This is a fundamental psychological trap of thinking, an ingrained pattern of perception that most people habitually fall into due to their inherent cognitive. Successful people separate emotion from identity. They see feelings as signals, not verdicts. This gives them cold clarity. In relationships, in communication, in decision-making, you can feel fear deeply and still choose to act. You can feel doubt clearly and not become it. This is where true confidence is quietly born, not the kind that shouts, the kind that stays silent and keeps its shape. The third secret is that attention is far more valuable than money itself. Most people give their attention to everyone but themselves. They constantly scan faces, seek approval, and fear losing their appeal. This slowly destroys your inner support system. You begin living inside other people's heads. Rich people do the exact opposite. They first form a strong inner position and only then step into the outside world. In relationships, this feels like deep calmness and emotional stability. You don't cling, you choose. Attraction comes not from need or hunger, but from inner integrity and wholeness. When you successfully transcend the scarcity mindset and the anxiety of losing, you begin to operate from a position of abundance, which naturally renders you a more compelling and valuable asset to others. The fourth secret is that meaning is far stronger than temporary motivation. Motivation is emotional and unstable. It comes and goes. Meaning structures and disciplines the mind. When you know exactly why you are enduring pain, your brain stops sabotaging your progress. Rich people do not rely on inspiration. They decide in advance who they will become and subordinate their habits to that identity. Therefore, discipline for them is not violence or force, but a natural consequence of identity. You don't force yourself to be yourself. You simply stop bargaining with your own nature. The fifth secret is giving yourself permission to be misunderstood. Most people fear conflict not because of the pain itself, but because of the distortion of their image. How they are interpreted by others becomes crucial to them. This makes them highly controllable. Rich people allow others to be completely wrong in their perception. They do not explain every action they take. They do not justify themselves. They do not smooth over uncomfortable truth. This creates a solid, grounded personality. It can be felt instantly without words. Communication becomes direct, grounded, and precise. Clear, without unnecessary noise or emotional static. And here is the unavoidable moment of truth. The mind is a constant battlefield between automatism and conscious awareness. Either you deliberately choose your thoughts, or they quietly choose you. Either you consciously form habits, or you repeat the scenarios of your parents, society, and past experiences. Your frustration is not a sign of weakness. It is a signal of mismatch between who you are and how you think. When you fully realize this, real space for strength appears. Not the power to dominate others, but the power to stand firmly in yourself. You stop seeking validation and permission from outside sources. You stop fearing rejection because you no longer base your self-worth on other people's choices. This is true inner freedom and psychological independence. Rich people are not better than you. They simply realized earlier that the mind is a tool, not a master. They consciously took responsibility for their own thinking. And that is what fundamentally changed their relationships, money, and level of attraction. The real question is whether you will allow yourself to see the truth about yourself. Because the moment you stop lying to your mind, it finally starts working for you. You no longer ask the world to be fair to you. It doesn't start with luck or chance. It starts with the mind.